Hello everyone, I'm not going to waste your time. I'll answer the question in the clickbait title right away. Is the Dungeons & Dragons movie better than Lord of the Rings? No, this movie's terrible. Starting off, this movie was made by New Line Cinema, the same company that would make Lord of the Rings less than a year later. Obviously, they worked out a couple of kinks. The movie starts off in a dungeon, so it's already got 50% of what the title promised. Very good start. Jeremy Irons plays the villain of this movie. He's got a green apple Jolly Rancher staff that can control dragons, but it needs to be recharged. The movie just sort of assumes you know what all of these magical items are and what they do, which makes sense if it was based off of Dungeons & Dragons lore, and this movie was made for people who play a lot of Dungeons & Dragons and know all the Dungeons & Dragons lore. It doesn't do that, though. It's not that. But there is a dragon now. So, 2 for 2, perfect movie. The dragon no longer likes green apple Jolly Ranchers, so it's not listening to Scar anymore, so Scar makes a plan to steal the Empress's rod. This movie says rod a lot, and I'm a child, so I made this.
Deliver me the rod.
I should find the rod herself.
The rod we're looking for caused the Great War.
Profium also seeks the rod.
We need that rod.
If I do not obtain the rod, I will die.
The rod. The rod is man-made, unnatural. It must not be disturbed.
Jeremy Irons has an assistant named Damodar who delivers his lines in very interesting ways and is the most fun part of this movie. No, they don't explain why he is wearing SpongeBob's lip gloss. Anyway, since his rod doesn't work anymore, Jeremy Irons hits the dragon with a Rancor maneuver, and then it dies and its blood sets the river on fire, because that's what dragon blood does. This is where we meet our main character, Ridley, whose goal is to look progressively more like Brendan Fraser from The Mummy as the movie goes on. His best friend is named Snails for some reason, but he's played by Marlon Wayans, which means that this movie has one more black person than every Lord of the Rings movie combined. If you're like me, you know Marlon Wayans from the Scary Movie franchise, which has a running joke about black people dying in horror movies before white people. I wonder if that will become relevant later. Baby Brendan wants to take advantage of the river being on fire and rob the Mages Guild. Snails does not want to go, but is convinced to go because he loves stealing things. That is his one character trait. He likes to steal things. That's not good. Then we pop over and meet the Empress, who wants the people to not be oppressed anymore, even though she is the Empress, so I'm assuming she is the one oppressing them. Right? Can't she just stop? Anyway, D&D was political even in the year 2000.
Politics.
She wants to grab another rod to control dragons, but not the ones that she already controls with her rod, and use the dragons to free people from oppression from her. Jeremy Irons is just running a coup against her in Congress pretty openly. He's just about to start singing Be Prepared. Ridley and Snails make it to the top of the Mage's Tower, and you know it's a Mage's Tower because Ridley literally turns on this lamp. It makes me uncomfortable. Marina is a mage in the tower. She's friends with Obi-Wan, which is confusing because I honestly thought she was the Empress. They look very similar to me. Obi-Wan gives her a MacGuffin scroll that she can use to find a MacGuffin ruby that will help them find a MacGuffin staff. It is a McMuffin centipede. Not a McMuffin centipede, it's a MacGuffin centipede. That's what I meant to say. Marina catches our two lovable thieves stealing things. Damodar attacks the Mage's Tower and kills Obi-Wan because this is both the prequels of Star Wars and the regular Star Wars at the same time. Marina teleports them away. They end up in an alley with a homeless dwarf man who does nothing for the story but comes along anyway, and they all escape into the sewer. I don't know why the dwarf comes with them. His backstory is, I was a soldier once. He has no connection to anyone. Also because it drove me crazy while watching the movie, this is Lee Ehrenberg. He's the hello puppet guy from Pirates of the Caribbean. You're welcome. Jeremy Irons and Damodar continue to have the same relationship as Dr. Robotnik and his assistant from the new Sonic movie.
Just thought you might like a latte with steamed Austrian goat milk. Of course I want a latte. I love the way you make them!
All of the evil characters in this movie are coded as gay. Happy Pride Month. Jeremy Irons puts a demon worm into Damodar that will help him catch the good guys because it will do demon worm stuff. Now, at this point, you might be asking yourself, hey, why are our heroes, two random thieves, helping out the mages? That is a question that our heroes have as well. But then, Marina takes off her jacket, and she has like a long sleeve t-shirt on, and baby Brendan gets too hot, and he cannot handle it. It has very big glasses and ponytail energy. and Snails is going because Baby Brendan is going, and Snails has no agency. Also, apparently, Baby Brendan's dad was a mage, so Baby Brendan can read magic scrolls and blue skidoos into the scroll with Marina. While those two are in the scroll, the bar gets attacked for no reason. The dwarf asks for a bar fight to happen, and then one does. Pretty cool power, honestly. They escape, and then Ridley and Marina explain that they talked to a ghost that was inside the scroll who told them where to find the ruby. It's in the Thieves Guild in another city. That's dangerous, and Snails again asks why they are going. Baby Brendan kind of implies that him and Marina either did hook up inside the scroll in front of the ghost, or that he just wants to hook up with her right next to her, and she doesn't really react in any way.
How could you do something like that?
I don't know what happened inside the scroll. That isn't shown. What did we get shown instead?
Gotta get yourself a nice 250-pound dwarf. Hair on their chin you can hang on to.
Off to the next city, they meet this thing. I don't know what it is. It's not from Dungeons and Dragons. He won't bring our heroes to the Thieves Guild, but he is friends with a guy whose face paint does not go below his neck, and then they walk to the Thieves Guild. Also, at some point, Snails picks up a dead cat, and the dwarf disappears. They don't say where the dwarf goes, and it's not a plot point. The dwarf just isn't there, but there is a dead cat. To get the ruby, they have to go through a maze that's in the Thieves Guild, but only Baby Brendan can do it because he is also Indiana Jones, because Rick O'Connell was a ripoff of Indiana Jones, which was a ripoff of serial stories, so that's like 4 levels of ripping off. After they get the ruby, Damodar attacks the Thieves Guild. Marina gets captured. Damodar interrogates her and gives this fantastic line delivery.
I can suck the information I want.
Sorry, I am a child. The group teams up with this elf girl who has some serious girl armor. I don't understand the strategic advantage of those points. They're not even pointy, they're rounded. They all go to rescue Marina, but the elf stops the dwarf from going to help, and also doesn't help herself, because apparently Snails and Baby Brendan are the chosen ones. Again, it's not explained. The elf is just like,
We were not meant to enter this place.
why? Baby Brendan finds Marina, Snails finds the ruby, but falls into quicksand because John Mulaney lied to him.
I always thought that quicksand was going to be a much bigger problem than it turned out to be.
Damodar catches him and gives us another fantastic line.
Just like you thieves, always taking things that don't belong to you.
Just like a baker, putting bread in an oven until it's cooked.
I bought this for $16 thinking it would turn my lips blue, and it did not.
Just like a snowboarder, moving downhill on a piece of plastic.
This is a $16 bit.
Just like a YouTuber, putting clickbait in the thumbnail for views.
They fight, and Damodar ends up killing Snails. Sorry, spoilers for the Dungeons and Dragons movie from the year 2000. Baby Brendan then gets stabbed, and in the next scene, we learn that elves have healing magic. Would that have worked on Snails? We don't know, because no one even asks. The Empress gives a great speech about how she's not going to let the government oppress people, the government that she is in charge of. If I'm honest, I was kind of zoning out. Her crown looks like an anglerfish thing. It's got these little dimpies. I would die as a deep trench fish, and that is apparent to me now. Thank you, Dungeons and Dragons movie. After she's done being a fish, she just leaves, and Scar continues to be Scar and incite open rebellion against her. Like, she just walks out of the room. She could be just around the corner.
Let the war begin!
Baby Brendan and Marina have a nice chat on the forest moon of Endor. Because again, this is just Star Wars, but bad. Marina convinces him that Snails died fighting for the Empress. Anytime his motivation got brought up, he said, I just love stealing so much. So, that's not true. But Brendan believes it anyway because he is clearly just here to get laid.
You know, for a mage, you're pretty smart.
The elves give Brendan a magic sword. It's not really clear what the sword does. The elves do have a short conversation that isn't subtitled afterwards. They find an entrance to a dungeon that holds the rod that they need to get. It's just a cave, though, which isn't what a dungeon is. The dungeon's very easy to understand. You go down a hall, you go down a slide, you are in the treasure room. This dungeon sucks. Brendan finds a skeleton holding the rod and drops this line the day after kissing his new mage girlfriend.
Finally, a mage who got what he deserved.
And again, we have to rip off Indiana Jones. There's this guard of the ancient treasure that's been lost for generations. Except unlike the Last Crusade, this guardian hates his job and just gives up the rod. Damodar captured the party while Baby Brendan was in the dungeon. We didn't need to see that, don't worry, I'm sure it wouldn't have been interesting. Baby Brendan has no choice but to give up the Cherry Jolly Rancher rod. There's a fight, it's bad. The fights in this movie are bad, because the movie is bad. Damodar teleports to the city, which is now in a full-on dragon war. We did not see this escalate in any way. There are just a bunch of dragons attacking the city. Baby Brendan dives in this portal after him, but doesn't arrive for like another 5 minutes. I don't know how portals work, but I don't think it's that. Damodar gives the rod to his boss Scar, and then gives us one more great line delivery.
Now what about my head?
Perfection. The Empress is now riding a dragon. This also happened off screen. She just hopped on at some point and is Dracarising her own city to liberate it from the mages, I guess. I don't know. This movie isn't better than Lord of the Rings, but it did come out like 20 years before the end of Game of Thrones, so that means it's more original than that. Baby Brendan and Damodar fight. It's bad. Baby Brendan wins, and then gets the drop on Jeremy Irons. Does he use this opportunity to stab him with his magical sword, slash him with his magical sword, or push him off the edge? Nope. Just a little tackle. Just a little push. Jeremy Irons counters with a very weirdly specific Matt Damon movie reference.
Not so talented, eh, Mr. Ridley?
There's no way that's not a reference to the movie The Talented Mr. Ripley. Right? But why? The rest of the party shows up somehow and fights Jeremy Irons one-on-one. Baby Brendan now has the rod and does some Team America face with it. The go-to move of this movie is to have important things happen off-screen while dumb, boring crap happens on-screen, which is not how I would make a movie. Speaking of, the Empress landed on this tower at some point and does a Lord Farquaad to Scar. This actually came out before Shrek, so technically Shrek ripped this off, but I don't care. Here's my question though, if the Empress is the one who actually takes down the bad guy, what was the point of Baby Brendan and the party's whole mission? Like, nothing would have changed if those characters didn't exist, and actually, things got worse because of them, which makes the movie feel like a big waste of time. The Empress says that there's no more inequality in the kingdom because she doesn't want there to be.
People of Izmir, at long last, I do declare that you are now all equal.
As we pan over to the graveyard where Snails' gravestone is a pile of rocks. Everyone else's gravestone is a gravestone. Snails' is a bunch of rocks, one of which has his name written in chalk. But inequality is done. We did it, gang. A magical wind blows his name off of the rock, and it's implied that he's going to be resurrected in the sequel, which this movie did not get a sequel. It got 2. Overall, I don't think this is a good movie. The big thing that keeps happening is they just skip scenes that should have obviously been in the movie. If you need a Dungeons & Dragons movie to watch right now, though, I recommend Tumanji, 2G. You get a bunch of people pretending to be other people with various skills, and they all have to work together as a team to go on an adventure. That's Dungeons & Dragons, even if there aren't dungeons or dragons. You know what? Actually, watch this movie. This is the perfect Dungeons & Dragons movie. I was wrong. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I had a lot of fun making it. Give it a like if you want to see more content like this. I'd love to make more videos like this. This is obviously my 100,000 subscriber special, so thank you to everyone who has subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, I don't totally know why you're here, but I hope that you do subscribe, because I think you would like my Dungeons & Dragons content. Go watch it. Go watch some of it. If you want to just see more of me, you can go check out Tulok and Mango. It's my side channel where I do Let's Plays with my buddy Mango. And that channel only has like 1,500 subscribers. So I know not all of you are over there. Go check it out. Goodbye.